Evening, guys. Well, obviously, it was really disappointing. Another home game where we've not produced any kind of performance for our fans, and it was a special occasion. The fans, I've got to say, were unbelievable, and I think it was an insight into what this football club's all about in terms of the fan base and the support that we have. And at the moment, we're not giving them anything like that we want to give them. So the game was. I suppose after the second goal, the game wasn't dead and buried, but the game would put us on the real back foot where we had to change the system. We had a chance with Carranza just after that to go in at 2-1 at half time, which was a big moment. But the two goals made us nervous in the first 15-20 minutes, and that was the disappointment, because we'd worked all week on playing simple, keeping it basic in terms of our build. And we just overcomplicated it, and we got punished. Because they had three good strikers up front that punished our defenders for mistakes that they made, and we've got to eradicate those mistakes, because those mistakes at this moment in time are costing us games. So I said to them at the end, tonight's not the night. Going into a 21-day break where we start pointing fingers, we've got to take collective responsibility, myself included, more than anyone. And we've got to make sure that we come back after the break in two important games against DC and Orlando at home, and that we're better, harder to beat, more dogged, more determined, and we eradicate the mistakes that we're making that are costing us goals.
Thank you. If you have a question for head coach Phil Neville at this time, please raise your hand. Let's get started with Michelle Kaufman.
Hey, Phil. I wonder if you could just elaborate a little bit, particularly on the defense. You had talked at the beginning of the season about this becoming a fortress, a place that's difficult. You wanted the team to be a team that's tough to beat, difficult to beat. On all three goals, it seems like defenders were out of position or gave the ball up in dangerous spots. Why do you think that those mistakes keep happening? Is there a way to explain it?
Well, I agree. I think you think about the LA game, the Montreal game, and tonight. Mistakes have cost us. Mistakes have cost us in games, and it's left us a mountain to climb in terms of sort of like getting back into the game, fighting to get a goal, and it puts us really on the back foot and makes the team, makes the stadium nervous. And as a home team, when you think about going to intimidating grounds, you think about having high pressure, you think about controlling the game, you think about being the hardest, most horriblest team to play against. And at this moment in time, we are not that at home, and that is the most disappointing thing, because we worked really hard on that. And you can point your fingers at individual errors in a couple of those games, and it's those individual errors, lacks of concentration, that at this moment in time are really, really punishing us, and it means that we're not dominating games at home, and we're giving teams the feeling that there is always a chance to score against us, and that's how I felt in the game today. Even though after 2-0 we changed the system, I thought it gave us a little bit more control. I always felt that with the nervousness that we had in our defensive third, meant that the opposition always thought that there may be another chance, and that's what they got in the second half. They had 3 shots and 3 goals. So we need to be better at that, and that is collectively and individually about taking responsibility, about staying with runners, blocking crosses, blocking shots, and doing the basics really well. And we have to get back to that.
Thank you, Michelle. Next, let's go to Kobe Price.
Thanks, Jackie. Hey, Phil, it seems like the back line and the midfield are having a hard time breaking teams down when they start pressing high, at least from up here. Are you seeing the same thing? And if so, what do you guys need to do to fix that? Because it seems to be the case, not just a little bit tonight, but also against Montreal and Chicago.
Yeah, well, I think we have a number of ways. Teams at the moment in time are probably feeding off a little bit of our nervousness, but I'm a coach that wants to give the players confidence and bravery, and we had 3 or 4 different options tonight in terms of when they go on the pitch, you've got to make the right decisions. If a team's pressing, you've got to play off the front. If a team's dropping off, you can play through the back. And tonight we didn't make the right decisions at the right time, which created the nervousness. And I take responsibility for that. The buck stops with me in terms of the way that we want to play and the decisions and the way that we do it. So I accept that, but also we have to be better. We have to be better. We've proven this season against teams, Atlanta at home, against a high-press team. We created 5-6 opportunities against Atlanta. We created 3 or 4 against LA by building through the thirds on the pitch. And that, for me, is our level. We can do it. We should get confidence from that and trust from that. And the players need to believe in themselves and believe in the way that we're trying to play. And show more confidence in doing that. And when they do that, we will be a good team, and we'll be a team that will be hard to beat at home. But it's just at this moment in time, the decision making is just not quite what it should be.
Thank you, Kobe. Next, let's go to Mike DePasquale.
Hey, Phil. Since we've known you, you've always said you wear your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah.
Where the frustration level right now, and you mentioned some things, defenders getting punished, and not to point fingers, but have you made it known to the boys that you are frustrated with this level of play right now and what they're showing?
Yeah, I think so. But also what I'm a big believer in, and I won't change, and it's one of my non-negotiables, is that ultimately the buck stops with me. The buck stops with me in terms of sort of like, that is my team out there, and we play together, we win and lose together. And ultimately, this moment in time, we are suffering, and we're suffering a lot, and we're frustrated with what is happened in the last 3 or 4 games. But ultimately, now's not the time, 9 games into the season, to start pointing fingers at individuals. We've got to be better as a collective unit. We've got to make sure that we play better. And that's the way it has to be. That's where the good teams are. That's where you develop championship winning teams, is by creating a culture of everybody taking accountability. I saw that this week in the meetings that we've had with the players, and it's no different tonight. I'm not going to stand out here and have a go at anyone. The biggest thing we have to be is collectively together.
Thank you, Mike. Let's go to Neil Blackman. Neil, you're off mute.
Thanks, Jackie. Phil,
Hi, Neil.
What do you take into the 3-week break here in terms of, is it the whole operation that you feel like has to get better? Is there a specific area that you'll focus on when they get back? You obviously get a chance at DC United again right out of the gate.
Yeah, well, I think first things first, there's probably 4 or 5 of the players that have been back training since January that need 4 days off. I think that's imperative. I know the teams probably give their players a little bit more off, but there needs to be a period of clearing the mind. It's been an intense period. There's been a lot happening. Crowds back in, different emotions in games, new manager, new culture within the football club. There needs to be a period now of just clearing the mind for 3 or 4 days, and then getting back to work, being hard to beat, making sure that when teams play against us, it's not easy to create chances. And that's the main thing that I'm going to be working on probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks. We've got 21 days until we play DC again. We know the qualities of DC. They've shown tonight their qualities. They're good on the transition. They're good on the counter attack. They defend really well the box in terms of they're getting 5 and the 2 or 3 sat in front. So we're going to have to be better in all facets of our game. But ultimately, I want us to clear our minds. I want us to be fresh. I want the players going away on international duty to go away and have a different environment and come back and determined to get 3 points against DC the next time we play them.
Thank you. We'll take one more question from Steve Brenner.
Oh, thanks, Jackie. Hey, Phil. Just obviously the investigation concluded this week. Has it been difficult? You don't want to make excuses, but just to focus on the football when everything else has been sort of going on in the background.
I don't think so, Steve. I think we've known for a long time. It seems to have taken an age for the punishment to come out. We told the players yesterday. We were made aware of the punishment the night before. Me and Chris Henderson, and like we said to the players, this is not something that should affect you on the pitch, because the players haven't been affected by it. In terms of nobody's been affected by it. The club has, and we take responsibility as a club, and we've got to make sure that we do that. But ultimately, the performance, the result, and what happens on the pitch and what happens. My job is to coach the team. The players' job is to go out there and perform on the field. Whatever happens away from that is not a distraction for us. So that was not something that we spoke about that much or can use as an excuse tonight. The team were focused. The team were focused to go out there and put on a performance for the fans in a packed out stadium here at the arena. So and we didn't do that, and that's the biggest disappointment.
Thank you, Neil.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.